What's up, everybody? It's GNSV, and this is our built environment. Now we're here to celebrate National Transit Month. That's right, September, National Transit Month, every YIMBY's favorite best friend. So let's get into the news in Northern California around transit. So we've seen a lot of improvements, both coming in the pipeline and being done right now. Um, it's been decades in the making. So let's get started. We're seeing cities across Silicon Valley planning for bus lanes. Love that. We have broken ground on the Santa Clara VTA light rail extension to Eastridge Mall. Yes! We've also broken ground on the Silicon Valley BART extension into the highest density area of the South Bay, downtown San Jose, which is going to connect the Bay Area's most extensive train station, and when it's constructed, is completed. But all across Northern California, we are preparing to see improvements that are spanning from Sacramento all the way down to Gilroy. Oakland is preparing to eliminate an entire freeway in an effort to connect more neighborhoods into downtown. North Bay's SMART light rail line is going through construction to extend it further north. Livermore is preparing to improve their their rail into the Central Valley. And Central Valley's Stockton, I kid you not, Stockton is on the path to seeing the most diverse train route options in all of California. Seriously, there's 15 different route options that are going to be coming in and out of the station. It's part of the San Joaquin's 2023 capital plan seen here. It's going to bring riders into LA, which is a Las Vegas connection point. It's going to bring riders into Sacramento, into Silicon Valley, and honestly, it gives Stockton the potential to see the most construction in the next 15 years as they consolidate from 2 stations into 1, and they have land that is actually affordable that they can develop with, especially when it comes to leading the pathway to high density job locations. So we also want to highlight one of the biggest parts here. California High-Speed Rail obviously is in construction right now. The environmental phases are all complete, thank goodness, as far as it goes from LA to Sacramento and San Jose. So I wanted to first celebrate all the good things that we have both in process right now and into coming in the pipeline. It's great to see. However, we have work to do. September being National Transit Month, it leads me to want to provide some of my thoughts for what public transit is and could be. So, to start it off, I want to offer something more philosophical, like why is transit even valuable for us as a society or community? First and foremost, it offers an affordable way to move people from one place to another. Right? Silicon Valley has a great history when it comes to the public transportation, however, a poor legacy today. But that doesn't have to stay. We can rebuild, and we're in the process of doing that. There are many people working to recreate the lines that we once had 100 years ago, even. A public light rail, public rail transit connections existed between downtown San Jose and Alum Rock Park, for instance. We also had rail lines that went from San Francisco and Oakland through San Jose down to Monterey. You had San Francisco and Oakland going down to Santa Cruz through Los Gatos. You had a rail line that went from Los Gatos to Palo Alto as well. We've had great rail service historically, and so many people are on the way to restoring one of the many great things about this region. Much like in the past, the areas around the rail stations have the potential, and dare I say should, have towns that are built the way that we used to as well. Instead of farms and orchards in between the rail stations like there used to be, we have suburbs, and sure, that's our built environment, right? It's what my generation was born into. People like walking around downtown like areas. You look at Silicon Valley and you have some of the busiest areas here when you look at places like downtown Campbell, San Jose's Japantown, downtown Sunnyvale, downtown Mountain View, downtown Palo Alto, San Jose's Willow Glen, and downtown Los Gatos. You know, they're wonderful places to be in and around and just hang out as a person amongst the community, amongst neighbors, or just among people that enjoy being outside, walking around, doing nothing. You know, most of them are even within a mile walk of a rail station, Los Gatos being the exception. Willow Glen's barely 1 mile away, so maybe there's an asterisk there too. But these places' value comes from being able to live car light, maybe even car free. You know, their value comes from being an enjoyable place to be around. Their value comes from being able to easily meet friends that live nearby or casually see with little to no planning involved. And these things aren't inherently valuable in a pure money sense. You save money if you don't need one car per adult in the house, of course. But while many people will add a vibes-based premium on housing or commercial real estate here, it's because people enjoy these spaces. There's only a premium because we don't have enough of them. Trains and buses that could connect each of these wonderful towns within a city actually help to make them what they are. An additional value public transit brings is to increase the amount of public space you have. Cars demand a lot of space, and you have to provide that space in order for people to get to these towns within the city, both for cars to enter, to exit, to park. Cars demand a lot of public space, and they're taking it from you as a person just trying to enjoy your day. But public transit has the ability to give more public space back to you. It can carry more people, obviously, but also more densely. Consider the space the engine and a trunk take or a truck bed take in a standard vehicle versus a bus. And because a bus or a train won't park, we don't have wasted space going to areas that could benefit businesses and therefore your enjoyment in that space. If we look at downtown Mountain View, we look at how they pedestrianize their street. It's never quite dull or it's not boring. People can casually walk around from store to store, restaurant to store, whatever, without having to worry about to check in each way for cars. It's almost like walking in Disney's Main Street, right? But even there you have carriages that you have to look out for. Buses and trains give opportunities to do more with our public space. It's a value that's immeasurable in terms not only in dollars, but also societal benefits like happiness or quality of life. These are all things that we enjoy now, but is there anywhere to go from here? Always. Let's hop on and find out where else we can go. Traffic has been a perpetual issue in the Bay Area since freeways invited cars and disincentivized public investment in rail services and buses. However, in the decades since that poor decision, there's a change in the tides coming. We saw it in the 60s when BART was approved, we saw it in the 1970s when VTA was approved, and we saw it in the 80s when Caltrain was a replacement entity, and that was approved. Unfortunately, due to the way taxes in California work, it does kind of explain why we've seen the slowdown in public transit infrastructure investment, but it doesn't excuse the given amount of money that we've spent on paving, repaving, widening roads, only to result in more traffic and more frustration for you. Traffic is something of a math problem, right? It's geometry. You you have space, and that space gets filled. The space we're talking about is roads, and it's getting filled with cars. The cars are filled up to varying degrees, and with autonomous cars being praised as the answer, they might not fill up at all. The cars, that is. It's pretty easy to understand how public transit can carry more people in less space. Even look at a truck compared to a van. People are going to comment, well, sure, but my car is faster than a bus because I don't have to stop for anyone. We've had commuter lanes in California for a long time, right? As long as millennials have been alive, for sure. Cars with more riders, unfortunately the bar is pretty low for this, but they get a special, fun, and sometimes faster moving lane. It does kind of seem that we agree that vehicles with high occupancy, or HOV, high occupancy vehicles, can be given some kind of priority for theoretically using less gas or spreading less emissions than would otherwise. Though I believe it's kind of an assumption that workers are carpooling, which used to be called a carpool lane, now it's called a high occupancy vehicle lane for that very reason. It's probably not being used to carpool with workers very much. But why can't we use this same premise for public transit? Buses not stopped in traffic would speed them up significantly. Need proof? San Francisco's Van Ness Avenue bus line saw more than a 30% improvement in speed. And this is the low-tech type of investment that has the potential to significantly increase ridership simply from knowing they will see the bus moving past the cars. But this is Silicon Valley. We like the high-tech, the new shiny gadget stuff, right? So let me introduce to you transit signal priority. And it exists right now. A streetlight either responds to a radio transmitter in a bus, and that triggers the signal to stop other lights, so that way the bus gets the green light. This traffic light change can really prioritize buses in a way that it makes them stop less with all the other cars in traffic, and then they actually get to go faster, stop as few times as possible. And when coupled together, bus-only lanes and signal priorities for buses and trains, of course, are the key to speeding up transit, to make them go faster than you can ever imagine in a car. And that's hard to believe, and sometimes seeing is believing. I get that. So, as I wrap this up, I want to remind you that public transit has the potential to also save lives. If you want to prevent drunk driving, quality public transit in a bus and train is going to be a helpful answer. They don't have to be only for getting people to and from work, but they should be to be able to get us places that we just want to enjoy life. You want to go out for a nice dinner as a couple, or just with some friends? Guess what? You're probably going to be driving. But if you get to take public transit and you like to enjoy a drink or two, you don't have to worry about driving home. You have a great chauffeur for you. Now, you might say, rideshare or cabs offer this solution already. I'm not saying that they don't have to be a solution. I'm just saying we shouldn't rely only on them as a solution. Public transit, it can be invested in a similar way, because that's what's going to help our society as a whole be able to use it efficiently. Public transit is exactly that, an investment for us, the people. It's a tool that we can use for a number of different purposes. How we prioritize those purposes is up to public transit staff, and they are able to decide after long and many discussions with the general public on how to make changes to the existing components of public transit. Santa Clara VTA is a public transit authority here. They listen to you and they respond to you, and they're very responsive too. We as a public should support quality services by listening and responding to the transit authority's needs like they do to ours. dollars. Because investing in public transit means we're investing in improving our built environment. Thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you if you like and subscribe. Have a good day.